Now I'd like to show you a word study in the New Testament that deals with a word that is much more common. Again, I want to do a word study that focuses or that takes into account the Greek text of the New Testament. That is not just an English word search. First thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to open up a Bible. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button over here with the green book behind the binoculars to open up a search window, and I'm going to do a search in the NASB. Notice I'm in the NASB version here for love. Now many instances come up, many of which are in the Old Testament, but since I'm focusing on the New Testament, and I want to do a word study on the noun agape, not the verb, the noun love, not the verb love. But how can I tell the difference between a verb and a noun if I don't know Greek? Well, let's take a look at some instances here. Here's Colossians 3:19, which says, "Husbands, love your wives." Now, you can see in the English text that it's a verb. It's an imperative verb. But how can I be sure? Well, one way of doing this is to pop open the Strong's numbers. Again, hit the S key, which will bring up the Strong's numbers. And you see love here. Now, if I click that Strong's number, it'll bring up the reference of this love, this word, in the NASB concordance. But you'll notice that the NASB concordance does not tell you what part of speech this word is. It does not tell you whether it's a noun or a verb. Now, you can kind of get that. It's sort of implied by saying to love here. But there's one way to find out for sure, and that is to click on the Strong's dictionaries, where you will see now that it is clearly marked verb. That little V there is blue. When I put my cursor over it, you can see that it says verb. So this is not then where I want to go if I'm going to try to do a word study on the noun, the Greek noun that is translated love in the New Testament. So let's go up to Colossians 3:14. Let's turn off the Strong's numbers so we can read this. Colossians 3:14, where it says, "Beyond all these things, put on love, which is the perfect bond of unity." Now, in the English, this certainly looks like a noun, but how can we be for sure? Again, I'm going to turn on the Strong's numbers, and I'm going to click on that Strong number. And again, the NASB concordance doesn't tell me that it's a noun. Now, it's certainly implied here, and you can tell that it's kind of implied by the translations it provides. But again, to find out for sure, click on the Strong's numbers, and here you will see that instead of a V, there's an N, which means noun. So now I know that I'm in the right place. This is the noun agape, which is the Greek noun often translated love. Now, if I go back to the NASB, I can see that the word or the noun agape occurs 116 times in the New Testament, because the NASB concordance is going to list all the occurrences of that noun or of that word, whichever word you're looking at, in the Greek New Testament. And if you add these up here, you get 116 occurrences of the Greek noun agape. Now, all that would remain then for me in my word study is to go back and to search the NASB for some of these occurrences and to study the word in its context. It's much more important for the proper understanding of a word to understand it in its context.